So now we are going to move to a more practical part of the day, and we've heard a lot about building things and what we need to do. We're going to talk about the infrastructure now, part of what is needed to actually make all this happen. So with that, I want to bring up on stage Julia from Zero Hash and Joe from Transak. You guys around? Here we are. Come on up. We're going to add one more chair. All right.
Where should we sit?
Hi, Julia.
Hey.
Nice to meet you.
Hi.
Nice to sit. Thank you. I'll sit over here. So yes, as I said, we've had quite an interesting, 3 sessions so far today, mainly talking big picture. So I want to now delve into the real nuts and bolts behind everything. So maybe we just kick it off, Julia. Why don't you just describe what Zero Hash does, and Joe will have you as well, but you can kick it off, Julia.
Yeah. Hey, everyone. I'm Julia. I'm head of growth at Zero Hash. Zero Hash is a crypto as a service provider. So we enable fintechs, traditional financial institutions, and any consumer business for that matter to seamlessly integrate crypto into their offering, whether it's by enabling their end users to buy and sell crypto, to earn crypto rewards, to stake that crypto, to access NFTs, and really the whole suite of crypto products. So you can really think of it as banking as a service, but focused on the whole realm of crypto. We are traditionally a US-based company, but expanding into Europe. Already support very large institutions like interactive brokers, as well as some leading neobanks and neobrokers in the US, and excited to do more in Europe.
Okay, Joe?
Yep, I'm Joe from Transak, and we're a developer integration that allows any app or website to onboard their users to crypto. We do that through a suite of products, fiat on and off-ramp globally in over 125 countries. We support full KYC onboarding, risk and compliance monitoring, and we support a range of use cases from wallets like MetaMask, Trust Wallet, through to gaming, NFT, metaverse platforms like Decentraland, and also CeFi, like traditional exchanges, and neobanks and fintechs.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and so I know you guys work together in the US, so maybe you could tell us how you do that, and maybe some examples of how you are working together.
Yeah, maybe I'll take that one. So Zero Hash and Transak work pretty closely in the US in particular. So Transak works with us to leverage our regulatory infrastructure. So not only do we provide companies with technical solutions to be able to offer crypto, but we also provide them with the regulatory infrastructure. So in the US, we're licensed in all 50 states, meaning that if someone wants to launch a crypto product in the US, they can do that pretty fast by not only overcoming that technical burden, but getting those licenses in all 50 states through us. So that's the capacity under which we work with Transak.
Right. Okay, so then let's, when it comes to infrastructure, when it comes to sort of what, the nuts and bolts here, what are some of the biggest barriers that you guys are seeing for crypto adoption?
I mean, I can speak to a couple different things at the user level, at the business level, and then maybe the common problem. So at a user level, a big issue is crypto literacy, understanding how to get crypto in the first place and interact with these apps or websites that want to support crypto. From at a business level, you have the issue of regulatory clarity, understanding how you can offer these crypto products and services to your customers, which typically require some sort of license or potentially there isn't a clear framework there. So licensing like the money transmitter licenses that Julia referred to in the US, or like a crypto asset registration in the UK with the FCA, which is one that we hold. The common problem is onboarding, and that's a problem that we're solving. within Web3. So actually onboarding the user from their pounds or dollars to crypto. And crypto is global. You need to be able to do this globally wherever the user is and whatever payment method they need to on board with. So traditionally, the way to get crypto was to leave whatever app or website you're using and go to an exchange. You'd need to go through a burdensome KYC process. You'd need to know how to then trade, put your funds into the exchange and then trade those funds into crypto. We streamline that process through a simple integration via widget or API that allows an app or website to let their user purchase crypto directly in that platform without having to leave the flow. The conversion is much higher, and the barrier to entry is also much lower.
So what sort of platform are you talking about here? I mean, can you give some examples of how you solve the onboarding platform with specific platforms?
Yeah, so a very simple example would be a decentralized wallet like MetaMask. We're integrated within the MetaMask app. A user sets up their non-custodial, self-custodied wallet for the first time, which requires some level of knowledge or education. But once they have that wallet, how do they actually get crypto into that wallet? So the problem before, as I described, they had to leave the flow and know how to trade in order to get crypto and then send those funds to their wallet. Transak is directly there, and you can pay using close to 30 local payment methods, cards globally, so whether it's cash-based payment methods in Latin America through to e-wallets, which are a very popular payment method in the Philippines. You can use one of those payment methods to quickly and easily buy over 100 crypto assets using our integration, and those funds will land in your wallet within a few minutes, hopefully. So it's a very simple process. Obviously, you do need to go through a KYC process as well, but that's something which is directly embedded within our solution. So we abstract away that whole complexity, the steps from KYC through to the fiat on-ramp itself, and then also the fiat off-ramp.
Right. And so Julia, how you guys work with both traditional financial institutions as well as fintechs and even non-financial brands, right? So tell us a little bit about the different ways that people are accessing crypto today through Zero Hash.
Yeah, so the most common one is your classic crypto buy and sell. So right now you have your crypto exchanges like Coinbase, like Gemini, and so on. But the reality is a lot of folks that are not crypto native don't necessarily want to use another app or not necessarily comfortable with it. They want to interact with crypto through their traditional bank as if it's just another asset class. And that's what we enable. We enable to financial institutions to package up a crypto offering within their existing app and make it really easy for their users to access. So that's one way. Crypto buy and sell tends to be the first port of call. We also see crypto rewards and roundups being very popular, and things like staking, particularly in this environment. We're seeing a lot of interest for ways to actually generate yield on that crypto. So we would actually enable you not only to purchase crypto, but also stake that crypto and earn an interest on it. So that's really the basic, most popular offering. We've also started moving into payments, so figuring out how we enable firms to facilitate payments via crypto. So enabling merchants to accept crypto payments and providing that infrastructure.
Okay. And so what about crypto custody? It's that's a big it's a big topic in and of itself. Just can one of you share what are some of the best practices here when it comes to crypto custody?
When it comes to crypto custody, there's many ways to do it. I'd say the best practice has moved towards multi-party computation, but ultimately custody only solves one part of the problem, and what we see is that companies don't only want custody, they want to custody plus a whole suite of products. And custody is really just one of the building blocks of our entire offering. So we see this shift from just custodying assets to really thinking about how can we provide an overarching offering for our customers and build custody with the surrounding utility.
Right, got it. And so have you guys seen, I'm just curious, maybe for both you could answer this, how you've seen demand for your services given, this year we've had, there's obviously been a downturn in crypto prices, there's been lots of talks of, hacks and different breaches here and there. How's that, Joe, maybe you could start off, how's that kind of impacting your business as far as on the demand side?
Yeah, that's a good question. So, I think the thing that everyone is saying now is that bear markets are for building, and that's what we're focusing on, and I think a lot of other companies in the space are doing as well. So for us, nothing really changes in that sense. We have a very clear product strategy and roadmap, and we're executing on that. So this is just a chance for us to continue to focus on what we think we need to do and continue to launch those new products and services to our customers. So yeah, the volumes I think are down across exchanges, but nothing changes for us in terms of what we're doing.
Right.
Yeah, I'd say likewise, as a B2B company, we've been relatively shielded from a lot of this downturn. So we cater to primarily large enterprises, so these really big fintechs, really large financial institutions. And the reality is most of them haven't changed their long-term roadmap. If they haven't already offered crypto, they are building towards offering a crypto product because they don't want to miss out on the next bull market. A lot of the companies we're targeting are ones that saw companies like Revolut or Robinhood making 60% of their revenue from crypto last year.
Right.
And they don't want to miss out on the next bull run. So despite the consumer markets being relatively bearish, we still see that demand from enterprises because they still see crypto as part of their long-term roadmap.
Right, and that sort of matches up with what our former speaker, Matt Hancock, was saying, that some of the things like he was basically just talking about how the revolution is coming. He's convinced of it, and it's just a case of will the UK be a major player or not. And so I want to go back. You touched on it earlier there, Julia. I want to go back and talk about payments because that's something that is a use case that is well underway. People are making crypto payments today on a regular basis. So tell us maybe a little bit about how you help facilitate that and what needs to happen infrastructure-wise for that to be mainstream.
Yeah. So maybe I'll tackle the second part of your question first. What
Okay.
needs to happen for it to become mainstream? Personally, I don't really see a use case for people using, for example, Bitcoin to make payments. A lot of these cryptocurrencies, because they are so volatile in nature, you don't necessarily want to use them to, make a purchase at an e-commerce merchant. What you will use are stable coins. And one of the main barriers to adoption for crypto payments, I think, is the fact that stable coins are not super with spread. So I think stable coins, CBDCs, will help drive that shift and create a stable currency which is more likely to be spent on those websites. In terms of what Zero Hash provides, we provide access. So if you want to spend crypto at a merchant, or if there's a merchant that wants to accept crypto, Zero Hash provides the underlying infrastructure. So we connect to various liquidity providers. We provide access to over 80 different assets, and we provide really that settlement infrastructure. So moving assets from one account to another.
Okay, so, and Joe, what is on the Transact side of things? How are you seeing demand for payments as well, or what is that part of what you guys are doing or not?
Yeah, of course, it's absolutely fundamental to what we do. I mean, a big part of what we do is payments orchestration, is having all these integrations with payment service providers and acquirers that allow people to on or off ramp. So a big element of what we do is rooted within payments. In terms of payments trends within crypto, stablecoin settlement is obviously a big one that's being talked about now. It's seen as a tool to unlock quicker settlement times and improve liquidity issues for merchants and businesses. And there are a number of other use cases, remittances, cross-border settlement of funds and FX, which now can be clunky and slow and expensive for businesses and individuals alike moving funds around. So being able to on-ramp and then off-ramp in another country is critical. And then, another thing that we're working on now is launching even more smooth ways to deposit funds direct to protocol rather than having to on-ramp and then interact with a smart contract. We have a new product which we've recently launched called Transak One, which allows you to directly interact with the smart contract in one step. And for example, a subscription platform that we work with called Cask uses this to allow their users to directly deposit into the protocol. They can then pay for newspaper subscriptions or recurring purchases of crypto without having to go through multiple steps to do that. Just one step, fiat, faster payments or card payment, as I said, globally to the protocol itself.
Right. So then when we're talking about how people are interacting with finance today, most people are doing it inside their mobile app, right? I check my bank account on a regular basis on the app. How far are we away, and maybe what needs to happen before most of the major banks have a sort of a crypto mechanism inside the app? So maybe talk about what needs to happen first, and then maybe how long.
So I've spoken to a lot of major banks and financial institutions, and it feels to me like actually the biggest barrier for them, particularly in Europe, is this regulatory uncertainty.
Right.
Many of them are actually reluctant to make a move when it comes to crypto because they don't know how the regulator is going to react, whether the regulator will push back on this. So they don't necessarily want to be the first mover until there's some kind of clear regulatory framework. And I think MiCA, which is this basically standardized crypto regulation, which will come into place in 2024, will help create that certainty on behalf of traditional financial institutions and hopefully push them towards actually, offering crypto products rather than what they've been doing today, which has been, dipping a toe in their water by investing in crypto players rather than doing something themselves.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Joe?
Yeah, we're definitely moving there. A lot of traditional finance institutions and neobanks are increasingly finding ways or looking for ways to offer crypto exposure to their customers, and that may be sort of in a phased approach, but we're also having similar types of conversations. There's definitely an appetite to do that, and now I think within this market is a good time to look at that. Obviously, one of the big challenges is knowing how to be regulated, managing obviously crypto on your balance sheet as well if you're a company that wants to offer this natively. So working with companies like Transak and Zero Hash makes that process much simpler.
So we're running out of time. Just let's maybe conclude on this. Let's assume we got MiCA, as we've talked about in the European Union. Matt Hancock just gave a call to action for his colleagues in Parliament here. Let's assume we have that in place in 2 years' time. What's your predict? Like, if that's in place, is that the only thing holding people back? Obviously the framework, the underlying framework is being built. So if regulations are in place, when do we see most banks having this?
Well, I think aside from regulation, there's also the technical challenge of building this in-house. Particularly a lot of traditional financial institutions do not have the technical chops to build a high-quality crypto product in-house. No offense to any financial institutions here. And that's where Transak and Zero Hash come into play. We really lower those barriers, and I think once the regulatory friction has been reduced, we'll start to see a lot of those institutions coming towards players such as us and implementing crypto solutions. So I feel like it won't be too long of a time frame until you're seeing crypto in your Barclays or NatWest app.
Okay, well, we'll have to leave it there. We are out of time. So, Julia, Joe, really appreciate you joining us here. Give them all a round of applause. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Julia.
Thanks very much.
Appreciate it.